Alright, what's up, guys? Today is Crimson Vow release. I pre-ordered 50 packs. I logged into the main screen and I was about to it gave me my Olivia and my Olivia style. And then the game crashed. I guess it needed to do an emergency update or something. And now I'm finally logged back in. And I guess Omnith is banned in standard now. That's not a surprise. You know, it's never a surprise when Omnith gets banned. Historic suspensions, memory lapses now banned. That's never a surprise. And whoa. Agent of Treachery, that's not a shocker. Brainstorm, that's the usual. That's pretty cool. Counter target spell. Yeah, that's not a surprise. That's always going to get banned, guys. Always. Let's see. Dark Ritual is banned. I don't blame it. Demonic Tutor banned. That's not a shocker either. That's the usual kind of bans. Field of the Dead. It's another usual ban. Fires of Intervention. Yeah, that's usually always getting banned. A Lightning Bolt banned. Natural Order. 4 mana? Yeah, that's broken. Nexus of Fate, Oko. Yeah. Let's see. Once Upon a Time. Swords to Plowshares. Teferi. That sucks. Thassa's, yeah, I've seen that thing break. 5 mana, take an extra turn, and it doesn't even get exiled. Yeah, that's broken. Euro, yeah, he usually gets banned. Wilderness Reclamation usually gets banned, and Winota, Joiner of Forcer is now a banned card as well. I mean, she was probably banned before, but... Innistrad, Crimson Vow, available now. Visit the store to purchase packs and add to your collection. So, guys,
you did it! I'm so proud of you! I'll be around if you want to practice a new deck. But from now on, you'll have to battle other players to earn rewards.
Sure.
I always thought you were amazing. But now, the whole multiverse will know.
Well, thanks.
Bye! You know where to find me.
That's right. That's right. Sure. Alright, guys, so we already pre-ordered. We got 50 packs waiting. But why stop at 50 packs? You feel me? We want to go a step further. We're going to go ahead and type in the redeem center, play Vow, and collect 3 more packs. You feel me? Claim those. And we're going to take it a step further than that. And we're going to go to packs. And we're going to buy 12. 12 packs. Right off the bat. Alright, we've now got 65 cards with our name on them. Castle Dracula is what you get on this one. Alright, okay. Cool. So if we go over to packs, you'll see we've got 65 of those bad boys. Alright. I guess, let's see if the new mastery is up. And let's see, how do we, it's 3,400. We're at 2,400. We'll definitely have to join that, but not today. And we will go ahead and open our 65 packs. And our first crack we get. Whenever you discard one or more cards, create a tap 2/2 zombie creature token. This ability triggers once each turn. Okay. Next up we have... When Runo Stormkirk enters the battlefield, put up to one target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If a creature card with mana, transform. Whoa, this thing is pretty vicious, guys. This is pretty vicious. You could definitely build a deck off of this guy alone. So... he enters the battlefield, you put a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. And then at the beginning of every upkeep, while he's still Runo Stormkirk, you're going to look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card with mana value 6 or more, you can transform him. And that's pretty big, because if you transform him, whenever he attacks, you can create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of any other creature you have on the field. And if that creature is a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent, you get to create 2 of those tokens instead. This is definitely gonna be a thing. Expect decks to be made from this guy, because it's gonna happen. He only costs 3 mana, and there's so many black cards that let you, or red cards even, that let you discard cards from your hand to do things, like draw more cards. Who's not going to want to, you know, turn 2, discard a 6 mana creature that they drew in the beginning of the game to draw more cards? You know, and then turn 3 Runo, turn 4 transform. You know what I mean? Shit like that is going to be happening. Let's see. We'll keep it moving. Got a lot left. And now we have Marahal Mimic. You may have Marahal Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a spirit. So that means if it's a legendary, this thing is probably going to also be a legendary. So you don't want to copy legendaries with this. It's got a disturb price, meaning you can play it from your graveyard as well. And let's see. But yeah, it comes out from the graveyard transform. So this is one of those cards that you can actually discard if you're building a discard deck, and even if you're running some kind of board wipe protection deck, this is definitely going to be something that you want to play because it's got a disturb price, and that means if they go and blow up your board, you can still play the shit from your graveyard. Gives you options. Enchant creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of the enchanted creature. That's every single turn on your turn. Would be put into a graveyard. Damn, that's pretty vicious. That's definitely board wipe protection, because they blow up one of your creatures. I mean, they blow up all your creatures. You play this, you know, from the graveyard on the newest creature you just cast, and next thing you know, that one creature becomes an army, and then they need to board wipe again, which is pretty effective. Will it see a lot of play? Maybe. It's 4 mana. It's kind of high. The disturb price is 5 mana. We'll see what happens with that card. It might get slept on for a while. And next up, ooh, look at this beauty. Henrika Damnathi. Legendary creature vampire. Flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Each player is gonna have to sacrifice a creature. You draw a card and you lose 1 life, or you transform her. So if you read, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you can choose to transform her off the bat. But if you think it's more important to kill something, if your opponent is running 1 strong creature on the field that you need to get rid of, you can choose for each player to sacrifice a creature first. If transforming her is not the answer to all of your problems, you can always skip transforming her and draw a card and lose 1 life, hoping that you draw the solution to your problem. But if you're having no problems, if your opponent has too many creatures for you to play, each player sacrifices a creature, you can skip right over to transforming, and maybe lifelink or death touch could be the answers you need. Maybe even the flying to get through and do that last bit of damage. Each creature you control with flying, death touch, and or lifelink gets +1 until end of turn. So she is definitely one of those cards that is going to be, you know, she's going to be clutch. She's going to give you what you need usually. If like I said, if a player has 1 big creature on the field and that 1 creature is the problem, each player sacrifices a creature is your solution there. If transforming is not the answer, it's not going to keep you alive. If making the opponent's sacrifice is not the answer and that's not going to keep you alive, then you play her anyways as a last resort and draw a card and lose 1 life. Yes, 4 mana is a lot, because you play 4 mana to play her, then you draw your card, you lose life, you draw the card you need, but then you don't have the mana to play that card that turn. Hopefully you can then use her to block and keep you alive, but if not, you're probably toast. Let's see what we get here. A 1 mana card. I love 1 mana golds. He's got training. Remove 2 ++. Remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. This is gonna be huge. This is, you know, this is definitely looking like the set that's gonna make enchantment decks become a thing for this standard. And cards like this are definitely gonna be clutch. You know, destroy target artifact already is gonna work against Tergrid decks, which aren't really a thing, even though I have one, and I seem to be the only one running Tergrid right now. But who knows, maybe that will change. And I have 2 versions of my Tergrid deck. I have a black and white and I have a black and green, and they both seem to do really fucking good, not gonna lie to you. But maybe now, with all these enchantments on the field, Tergrid is gonna be a thing, and this Hopeful Initiate is definitely a counter to things like that. Alright. He's also a 1/2 and can block right away if you're facing some red aggro. You know, for 1 mana, you got a blocker. And there's the training. Alright, let's see what we get this time. Alright, whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player creates a blood token. Whenever Blood Vial Purveyor attacks, it gets +1 until end of turn for each blood token the defending player controls. So listen, if you're wondering what a Blood Vial is, it costs 1 mana, you tap it, you discard a card and sacrifice it, then you draw a card, okay? And that's something you don't really want to be giving your opponent, but to counteract that, this card only costs 4 mana, has flying, has trample, and is a 5/6. Alright, this thing is pretty fucking vicious. It's got an edge to it, and that edge is countered by giving your opponent Blood Vials. But then it's recountered again, because he gets +1 every time they don't use their Blood Vials. Feel me? So, that's a thing. That is definitely a thing. And we finally got a dual land. This is what I love. This is what we do this for. This is what we pre-order sets for, to get these dual lands, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to have to waste all our mythics on them later. Let us get them in the packs now. Dreamroot Cascade enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Beautiful, beautiful. We love dual lands. Those are our favorites. That's what we're aiming for. Dual lands here. And we got a Howling Moon. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So that means if he plays 2 spells on your turn, or if he plays 2 spells on his turn, it doesn't matter. You're getting a wolf. 1 wolf. This is an enchantment. It's not a creature. And let's see. And at the beginning of your combat turn, you can pick a wolf or a werewolf and give it +2/+2 until end of turn. So the thing with this, right, is it's dependent on what kind of deck you're facing. Is the person you're playing against one of those people who's playing multiple spells on my turn or their turn or any turn for that matter? You know what I mean? So I have a werewolf deck already. It's green and red. And I love it. It's pretty fun to play. And just looking at this card, I'm pretty sure that I would side deck this. This would not be a main deck card for me. I would not main deck this card. That's my thoughts on that. And if I ran into a deck that was going crazy playing spells every turn, you know, one of those decks that likes to drop their whole turn when they've got like 4 mana on the field, you know, I'd drop that puppy down, maybe. Dominating Vampire, 3 mana, red, 2 double reds. When Dominating Vampire enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Not bad. This is definitely, I could definitely see this in some kind of red aggro vampire deck kind of thing. Maybe even just in a vampire deck, you know. It's definitely not bad. It's not the best. It's not the worst. You gotta remember, some of the decks you're gonna face aren't even gonna have creatures in them to begin with. Maybe a side deck card as well. Yeah, I'd probably side deck this in a vampire deck. And there's a lot of token decks, so taking one creature really doesn't matter when they're all tokens. You know, so, you know, you'd probably play this against some kind of crazy green deck, or even a black deck that's playing crazy cards. Maybe a blue deck if they're playing like that dragon at the end, you know. Well, it's definitely something I would side deck maybe. Draw a card for each creature with flying you control if you pay the 3 mana. If you play the 6 mana, it's automatically cleaved. You take out the with flying part and draw a card for each creature you control. So this is definitely gonna be busted, guys. This is gonna be busted. I'm telling you right now, I have you're gonna see this in token decks for sure. Creature token decks. There's already cards in standard that make it so you have no maximum hand size, and people are gonna just play tokens like Mass Exhibition into a cleave the turn after, or fucking what's that beetle? There's that beetle one, the Swarm Scuttle or whatever the fuck it's called, where, you know, I had last match I played with that deck, I had 52 of those beetle things on the field. Imagine if I would have cleaved. I would have lost the game because I would have drew too many cards probably. Yeah, this thing is pretty fucking cool. Probably my favoriteest card so far. This is something you definitely want to like break if you can. You want to build a deck around this card, and you want to break this card. This card is meant to be broken. You can tell. Who knows, you know, if we break this card the right way, it might even see a ban. This one could see a ban. Let's see. 3 mana, Cemetery Illuminator, flying. Whenever Cemetery Illuminator enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. You may look at the top card of your library anytime, once each turn. You may cast a spell from the top of your library if it shares a card type. Interesting. Very interesting. It's only 3 mana, it gives you extra cards to play, and it's got a, you know, graveyard hate. It's got some graveyard hate to it. That's going to be good, especially if you're running like a blue and white control deck and you're board wiping and they have Disturb for board wipe protection. You know, get rid of those Disturb cards before they come back. Know what I mean? And then give yourself extra plays. I definitely see this card getting some play. You need graveyard hate. You need it. Good thing. We got another Mirror Hall Mimic. We've already talked about that. Now we've got 2 of them. Probably not something I would run for 4 mana, but maybe. We've got another Hopeful Initiate. That's cool. I don't really have a deck, and I don't plan on building a deck that's going to include him yet. But we'll see how the meta changes. Alchemist Gambit, 3 mana. Take an extra turn after this one. During that turn, damage can't be prevented. You know, at the beginning of that turn's end step, if you didn't win, you lose the game. Or you can cleave it and just take an extra turn. This is going to be really, really good in those red aggro decks. I'm telling you right now, we are definitely going to see this card in action. Red aggro decks are most likely gonna play this, you know, and I think they're gonna get those wins that they needed a lot more because of this card. You know, there's so many times I'll play a standard match, you know, red aggro, I don't really feel like you don't see many of those in Diamond because they didn't make it. But this card could take red aggro to Diamond, I believe it, maybe even a Mythic, for sure. Because usually red aggro will be 1 turn away. 1 turn away, and then boom, board wipe. You know what I mean? And then it's all over for red aggro. That's how they lose. But if they can just get it to where they're 1 turn away and then play this Alchemist Gambit, the board wipe never comes. And that's all they need. That's all those red aggro decks need. I see red aggro becoming a thing. I see red aggro going to Diamond and Mythic with this one, for sure. It's what they were missing, let's be honest. Alright, we got a Patchwork Crawler. Exile target creature card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on him. That's 3 mana, by the way. He has all the activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with it. I mean, it's not the best, it's not the worst. I'm not going to talk too much about the Patchwork Crawler because Patchwork Crawler is going to take some imagination. And we've got 50 more packs to open, and I don't want to, you know, waste my time trying to imagine what he can do right now. We don't really like mythic rares. We've got those. It's the rare ones we want, so we can buy the lands. Whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield under your control, create a copy of that creature. That will definitely see some play. Who doesn't want to double up their creatures? You know, this is definitely going to be in a zombie deck. That's self-explanatory. I don't need to explain it. It's gonna see play. It's gonna hit. You're gonna see zombie decks. They're definitely gonna be a thing. This spell cannot be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or return target non-land. This is busted. This is definitely broken. I think I would definitely build an entire deck around this card. Definitely. Are you reading this? It says whenever you cast a spell. That means that I don't even have to run counters in my deck anymore. All I have to do is run fucking scry cards for like 1 or 2 mana and scry my deck and counter a card at the same time. Or scry my deck and send something back to your hand at the same time. This is the exact definition of what a blue deck used to be in the past, and this thing is absolutely busted. It's gonna see gameplay. I think I'm gonna build a deck around this card, and its biggest weakness is losing to aggro before it can become a thing. But for that reason, I might make it green. I mean green and blue. Ramp up as fast as possible. Get this thing on the field as fast as possible. And next thing you know, I'm returning spells to their owner's hands. They're not even playing them. You know, like this is like a dream come true. This thing is like a wet dream to blue decks. I'm telling you right now. I think I'm gonna go green and blue. I'm gonna ramp up to this card, and I'm gonna crush dreams. Crush dreams, absolutely. Absolutely crush dreams. There is one better blue card that I'm waiting for, and I'm really hoping I get, and I'll show it to you when I actually get it. You know, I haven't built a blue deck in a very long time, but they used to be my favorite. And seeing the blue cards that came out this set, if I get them, I will most likely finally build a blue deck again. Ascendant Pack Leader enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you control a permanent. Yeah. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on him. This guy's cool as fuck. You know, he's your typical green. You know, he's your typical green ramp. I mean aggro, because he starts off small, but he only costs 1 mana, so he's aggro. And on top of that, he's gonna keep getting bigger and more vicious. So it's definitely something that green aggro is gonna play for sure. Might see that in a green and red werewolf deck, or even a green and red deck in general. Green and red aggro. Falcon Wrath Forebear. 3 mana, 3/1, flying. He cannot block. Deals combat damage to a player, you get a blood token. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens, return him from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty fucking cool. Pretty cool. I can definitely see it getting played. But it's nothing too crazy, okay? Nothing too crazy. We'll keep going. Definitely good for board wipe protection, though. That's definitely removal protection right there. You wanna, they wanna make them waste all their removal on the same fucking card over and over again, for sure. Overcharged Amalgam. 4 mana. Flash. Flying. Exploit. 3/3. When Overcharged Amalgam exploits a creature, counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. I will definitely be running 4 of these in my blue deck, let's not lie. Let's not kid ourselves here. And if I have that other giant thing in the field, not only does he jump in, not only does he counter a spell, but then I can use that other creature's ability to return something to the opponent's hand as well. And I didn't even read if it said opponent or not, because if not, this is the kind of card I can put back in my hand and keep countering over and over again. If that other card didn't say opponent on it. I don't remember. So we got your typical green card, 3 mana, 1/1, ward 2. He enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it for every creature that isn't a human and isn't a token that you control. Pretty cool, not bad. Definitely gonna be a thing, but not my thing per se. Gralnak, the Omnivore. Whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, exile it with a croak counter on it. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards you own in exile with croak counters on them. That's pretty fucking cool, let's be honest. It's pretty fucking cool. Will I use it? I'm not sure. I might have to test it out. I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. 4 mana, Trample, Haste, 4/4, and 7 mana, Transform to an 8/8. Yeah, this thing is pretty vicious. This is your typical green stompy deck kind of thing. I'm not surprised to see something like that here. And we'll keep going. It's pretty cool. I mean, if it wasn't 4 mana, I think it might even be gold. But it's 4 mana, and for that reason alone, I might not even put it in a deck, you know? Alright. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. Or play the cleave cost, which is 4 mana, 2 black, 1 green. Just search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Pretty vicious stuff there. Pretty vicious stuff. If you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library instead. You may play both of those cards this turn. That is really good for red. Red needs that kind of shit. The one thing I would say I don't like is that they also made it blue. Because once you go into blue, blue can already do a lot of really cool shit with drawing cards, and it might not need this. Might not need this. You know, if this card was only red, I'm sure it would see fucking lots of play. Lots of play. But the fact that they added blue to it, I don't know anymore. It might, because it's still a 2/4 creature that can block and lets you play 2 cards every turn instead of drawing. I don't know though. Yeah, it's gonna see play. Who am I kidding? Red and blue will love it. Red and blue will absolutely love that card. We got another Olivia. That's either number 2 or number 3. Because we started with the pre-order with 1 or 2. We got another Henrika. We got another Gralnak. Wow, that's our 3rd hopeful. We got another Falkenrath. Something. Alright, this is new. 5 mana. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample. That's gonna kill people. Giving things trample Sometimes that's how you win. Target land can add 3 mana, or draw a card, or gain 3 life. It's 5 mana. I don't personally think I would use this card, but maybe in a green stompy deck I would, but I'm not a green stompy deck kind of guy. You're gonna see me not favor green stompy cards, so. But if you're a green stompy person, you'll probably love this card. I'm just green, I don't know. Green by itself just bores me a little bit. Unless I'm facing it, then it pisses me off. This guy again. Don't really like him. Don't really care much for green stomp. Here we go. That, I actually needed one of those. I need 3 more of those, so let's see if we can get more. Need those for my Tergrid deck. Discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. It's not the best, not the worst. I mean, I guess you could save a whole bunch of... If you run a red aggro deck, right, and you draw, like... You got your 4 lands down already, and then you just start pocketing all the fucking lands that you draw. You know, all those times where you feel like you could have won, but you drew another land. And then eventually you got like 3 lands saved up. And then you drop this bad boy and just get rid of all 3 of those lands. And next thing you know, you got a fucking hand again, but the problem is it costs 4 mana. So that if you're playing this at 4 mana, you tap your 4 mana, then you can't do anything for the rest of that turn. So then you have to wait a whole nother turn on top of that. Like, I don't know, man. This might see play in a mid-range deck. Maybe not an aggro deck. Maybe, I don't know. I see aggro being dead before it gets to use this. Maybe. I don't know. It's definitely worth testing. I'll definitely test that card out. 4 mana, 3/5. Whenever Hiveheart Shaman attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card that doesn't share a land type with a land you control. Put that card onto the battlefield and then shuffle. That's pretty fucking cool. 6 mana, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Put X+ where X is the basic land types among lands you control. This is pretty fucking cool. I might actually try to build a deck around this, because it seems interesting, and it's like, why not? You know? This is definitely different. I don't see people finding this card right away. There's definitely easier decks to build decks around, but I feel like why not start experimenting with it now? This deck is probably going to become OP when later sets come out with tri-colored lands and stuff like that. And I definitely see this catching play after a couple more sets are released. This is definitely a card that's going to lay dormant, and it's eventually going to be discovered later, and it's going to see play later. Watch. I might mess around with it just so that I have a base deck that I can keep adding to every time a set is released, and then I'll have, who knows, maybe I'll drop the template for it, you know, maybe I'll have the deck that everyone goes off of, you know, because I caught this card early and I paid attention to it. Definitely like it. I definitely like it. I love cards that seem hard to use, but definitely reward you for using them. And this definitely seems like one of those cards. I wish it was 1 mana cheaper. I wish it was a 3 mana card. I wish he was like a 2/3 instead of a 3/5. That would make it so much easier to play. But I'll definitely work with it and see what I can do. We've already got one of these guys, but we did want another one, so I'll take it. He's actually a card we did want another one of. This is really fucking cool. Really, really cool. I definitely want to put this card in a couple of decks and see how it goes. This looks like a very, very fun card. Very fun. I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to play it. But with that being said, I don't love it to the point where I will make wild cards to play it. That's not going to happen. My wild cards are going to go on dual lands, let's just be honest, and then I'm going to have to work with what I have. This card looks really cool. I love the artwork. 3 mana, 3/4, double green. Whenever Cemetery Prowler enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. Any graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. This is lit, guys. This is definitely lit. I can see this going into my werewolf deck. I could see it going into a green stompy deck. I could see this going into a green-red aggro deck. I can see this going into a lot of decks. For sure. This thing is cool as fuck. It's even got vigilance, which is unnecessary. I think Menace would have made more sense there. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have base power and toughness 4/4, have flying, and are angels in addition to their other types. This is definitely broken, guys. Definitely broken. It's definitely gonna see play. I can see angel decks at least running one of these. You know, this is like the holy grail when they draw this. You know, I wouldn't put more than one of these in a deck. I don't think I'd put more than one, but I definitely see it getting play. We got another dig up. There we go, green and black. We need that from my other Tergrid deck, so that's cool. We got another Runo. We've already discussed him. Catilda, Dawnheart Martyr. This thing looks sick, guys. I think I'm in love with the artwork. This is cool. Look at that. Oh my god, I love cards that have stars on the bottom instead of numbers. Those are the best. Those are my favorite kind of cards right there. Let's read this. She is a legendary creature. She's a spirit warlock. She's got flying and she's got lifelink. She's got protection from vampires. Catilda, Dawnheart Martyr's power and toughness are each equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. That is fucking cool. This is gonna see tons and tons of fucking play. Tons. Yeah, this is gonna be a thing. Disturb for 5 mana, and oh wait, there's more! As if there needed to be more. She's already broken. She's already beautiful. I'm already in love. But now she comes with Disturb as well, and let's see what this Disturb does. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has flying, has lifelink, has protection from vampires, and it gets +X Plus X, where X is the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. That's absolutely busted. Absolutely busted. Absolutely. You get to play her for 3 mana. They take her down. If they don't exile her, you play her again for 5, basically. Whew. What a beauty of a card right there, guys. Beauty of a card. You know, this might be my favorite artwork. My favorite looking card I've seen this whole set. And almost my favorite card the whole set. I mean, it's not my favorite card yet, but it's damn near close. This is definitely in my top 5 favorite cards I've seen this set, for sure. Ooh. Well. This is up there as well. This is like now my other favoriteest artwork card. This shit is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Avabruck Caretaker is 6 mana. That's highly unattractive. I hate it. Bothers me. It's got hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature that you control. And then Daybound and Nightbound. Alright, so other permanents you control have hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Wow. Whoa. This is going into Green Stompy. This is going into Red-Green Werewolf. This is going into regular Werewolf. This might go into Red-Green. This is going all over the place. But there's also the fact it costs 6 mana. So people might only run 2 of these. Maybe 1, even. I don't know, but it's gonna see play, for sure. Beautiful card. Three mana. 1/2. Training. Whenever Savior of Ollenbach trains, exile up to 1 other target creature from the battlefield, or a creature card from your graveyard. Leaves the battlefield, put the exiled cards onto the battlefield under their owner's control. You know, I think this card would just be a little bit better if they gave him Flash as well. Because he's easy to fucking kill, let's be honest. He's pretty easy. I think he should have had Flash. Especially if he's gonna be mythic. Take the training off. We don't need the training. We just wanted Flash. We really want gold wild cards, not mythic. That's our first one. 4 mana. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 red human creature token. Then if you control exactly 13 permanents, you may sacrifice Stensia Uprising. When you do, it deals 7 damage to any target. That could definitely be a kill shot. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, but it's also 4 mana, you know? That kind of gets in the way of red aggro. I don't know how I'd feel about that. And then it would take 4 turns before you have 4 creatures, you know? So I mean, it could come in handy if you were needing to chump block. But if you're playing red, you're really not thinking about blocking at all. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Whoa. I got a feeling this is gonna be fire. A fucking 3 mana Planeswalker. That is fucking amazing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And look at that. She's got all of the effects. She's got the plus, the minus, and she's got the ultimate minus. 4. So +1. All creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on one target creature token. It's crazy. Until end of turn. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. Busted. This thing is going to be busted. Exile all cards from all graveyards, then create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying for each card exiled this way. Insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, the -2 is where it's at right there. Oh, it's not broken because it's hard to do. You can't just do that shit every turn. So it's not completely broken. That's definitely gonna see play. No doubt about it. We got another one of those guys. Alright. At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter on Wedding Announcement. If you attack with 2 or more creatures this turn, draw a card. Otherwise, create a 1/1 white human creature token. If Wedding Announcement has 3 or more invitation counters on it, transform it. Creatures you control get +1/+1. I would like this card if I could stop it from getting counters, so that every time I attacked with 2 or more creatures, I just kept drawing cards. That's how I would like this card. And I would like it to cost 2 mana instead of 3. But the way it is, I'm just not a fan. Not a fan of the card. We've already got one. Four mana, flash. When Cemetery Protector enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, create a 1/1 white human creature token. I mean, that's not bad, actually. It's pretty fucking cool. Let's say you're running like a blue and white deck, and you've got a lot of like 2 mana, gain 3 life cards, sorceries, you know, a lot of sorceries. And then you got those sorceries to scry 2 in blue. So you get to gain the life, gain a human, you know, scry, gain a human. It's pretty cool. I would definitely think about building a deck around that concept. Maybe. That's our 4th hopeful, which I'm not happy about. I didn't really want him. And we got a red and blue. That's cool. Four mana, Creepy Puppeteer. Haste. Whenever Creepy Puppeteer attacks, if you attack with exactly one other creature this combat, you may have that creature's base power and toughness become 4/3 until end of turn. Okay, well, it's definitely not bad, you know. That's going to be great for a red aggro deck, because, you know, you're playing your 1 mana card, then your 2 mana card, then your 3 mana card, then you drop your 4 mana card, it's got haste, and then you turn your let's say only one other card is left, you know, and it's your 1 mana card, which was a 1/1. Now you're attacking 4/3, 4/3 twice. And, you know, since you were attacking turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, that 8 mana might bring the person you're facing down to like 2. You know, you should at least be able to bring someone down to like 6 if you play your cards right. So. Investigator's Journal enters the battlefield with a number of suspect counters on it equal to the greatest number of creatures a player controls. Remove a suspect counter from Investigator's Journal and draw a card. Sacrifice Investigator's Journal and draw a card. So this might actually work in a token deck. It just sucks that you can only draw one card a turn, and it costs 2 mana every single time. You know, you would definitely want to combo this with something else that helps you scry a lot or something. This is definitely going to get play. People are going to combo this with things, and it's going to work. If you can even untap it and use it again, you know, maybe make abilities cost 1 less. All kinds of things. And we got another dual land, which is great. I love dual lands. There it is, guys. This is the card I've been waiting for. This is probably my favoriteest blue card that's coming out. Each player chooses 1 non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents not chosen to their owner's hands. Then, I, not my opponent, draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than me. This thing is only 4 mana, and it will slow everything down that doesn't have haste. This is the blue equivalent of a board wipe, and this is like what blue spells used to look like back in the day when they were, you know, blue had some crazy power to it. Don't let it fool you. Blue was known for putting everything on your field back into your hand. That's what blue used to do. And it's just so nice to finally see a blue card that does all that shit again and only costs 4 mana. This represents everything blue stands for. This card is 100% blue. I love it. I love it. This is what blue used to be. This is what blue should always be. You know, this is what blue needs to be. Thanks for coming back, Magic. Thank you. I wish I would have got more of those. Oh man, I got a Howlpack Piper. This was another card I was super excited about that I really, really wanted. So check this out. First of all, he can't be countered. Alright? She cannot be countered. She's 4 mana. She's a 2/2 creature. You drop her on the field. She can't be countered. Okay? Listen to this. For 2 mana, you tap her, and you put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is something I need to tell you. If you tap 2 mana, tap her, you put a card from your hand onto the battlefield, I want you to know that that does not count as casting a card, and that means that the card you play with her is probably not, you cannot counter it. You cannot counter it. So if you tap 2 mana and tap her, whatever the fuck you choose to put down cannot be countered, most likely. That's my opinion. That's what I believe from the Magic I've been playing for 13 years, okay? You tap 2 mana, you tap her, you pick any creature card from your hand, you put it down, it does not count as being casted, it cannot be countered, okay? It cannot be countered, in my opinion. And then there's the fact that you're playing like 6 mana cards for 2 fucking mana. This card is absolutely 100% busted. It's definitely gonna get banned someday. I have no doubts about it. This card will get banned someday, and I'm building a deck around this card. I'm building a deck around this card. This card is gorgeous. It's beautiful. This represents Magic. You know, the Magic is supposed to be busted. You're supposed to be able to find ways to break Magic, and this card does that. This card breaks Magic. Okay? Can't believe I finally drew one. I was waiting for that. 4 mana, red green, human ranger. First strike, reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X+1/+1 counters on another creature you control where X is Hannah and Elena's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. That's pretty fucking sick. It's pretty cool. It's gonna see lots of play. Let's be honest. And 4 mana is perfect. It shouldn't be any less because this card's giving everything after it haste. It's giving everything after it plus at least two +1/+1 counters. You know, this thing is going to break the field when it comes out. Let's be honest. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the opponent, and it's definitely something an opponent's not going to want to go against and see on the field. So, the fact that green has to wait 4 turns definitely is worth it. And finally, we got Ange, Maid of Dishonor. 4 mana, vampire legendary creature. Whenever Ange, Maid of Dishonor, and or one or more other vampires enter the battlefield under your control, go ahead and create a blood token. This ability can only happen once every turn. Sacrifice another creature or a blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. It's pretty fucking awesome. You're definitely going to see this in vampire decks. And that is my 65 cards. I have 13 rares and 12 mythics left. Right before we end this video, I'll go look around and see if there's anything I want to add. Anything I want to create. So we'll go ahead and go straight to mythic rare. And we'll go straight to Crimson Vow. And we'll just take a quick browse, you know, see if there's anything we want. So I've got 2 Olivias. I've got one of these girls. This Cemetery Prowler is awesome. So I never got this guy. Enchanted player loses the game. Whoa. This shit is nuts, dude. I don't remember reading that. Holy fuck. I don't feel like reading all these cards. Not gonna lie. This guy right here, I wanted him so bad. So look at this, right? 7 mana. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token. This thing is a fucking massive board wipe. It just continues killing the enemy's creatures. It doesn't stop. It says at the beginning of every upkeep, end step. That means your opponent's and yours. So this thing is just gonna kill everything that comes onto the field until it's dealt with. We don't even have to worry about the blue. Sacrifice a slug, draw a card. No one gives a fuck. I'm putting this in a black and green deck or something. Watch, so I can ramp up to it. Get it out there. It's like nuts. I might make copies of that. Most likely. Oh, this is all of them, huh? It's all arsonists. This thing's 5 fucking mana. I don't like that. This is pretty fucking broken. This is definitely gonna see play. It's gonna see a lot of play. People are gonna play this shit like crazy. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Thank God it has to be exiled at the end of the turn. Whew. Chandra, Dress to Kill. Add 1 mana. Dress to Kill deals 1 damage up to 1 target player or planeswalker. Exile the top card of your library. If it's red, you can play it that turn. Definitely cool. We got Cemetery Desecrator. It's pretty cool. It's only 2 mana. Not bad, not the worst. Whoa, this thing is broken. I didn't read this. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a white spirit cleric creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control. Sheesh. That's mean. This thing is gonna see play. Fuck. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold on to my wild cards because I'm gonna wait and see what other people do with this. You know, I'm gonna play matches. You know, I'm gonna test out the cards that I do have. You know, and eventually one of my decks is either gonna become my favorite or I'm gonna like maybe build a new deck and it's gonna blow my mind or something. And then the only thing I'm gonna be missing, besides some cards, are gonna be my dual lands, and I'm gonna have to spend my wild cards on those dual lands. And it just sucks when you buy dual lands and they're the wrong color, because you liked one deck, and then later on you realize you like another deck more, but you spent your wild cards and now you don't have the dual lands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit on my dual lands, I'm going to do some testing, I'm going to do some playing, I'm going to mess around with all these cards. And when I come up on like a favorite combo or a favorite deck or something, boom, I'm going to spend my wild cards and I'm going to use them for my dual lands. And then I'll look at rare, mythic rares I can get in the same color, you know, and see if I want to add any of these to the actual deck I'm using. And if not, then I'll probably just buy my favorite ones, which is definitely going to be this Faithbound Judge, who is fucking crazy. I can't believe you can win the game with just this card. It's also going to be this Hallowed Haunting is nuts. That thing is going to be busted. Love the Maniform Hellkite. This thing is busted. And I love this Toxrill the Corrosive. So one of these is definitely going to go into my favorite deck if my favorite deck shares a color with it, probably, because they are busted. And this guy's awesome. Who knows? Maybe it'll be this guy that I get. Maybe it'll be her. You know, she's awesome. Who knows? Maybe I'll get the other two of her. You know, maybe. That's Necro Duality's cool. I mean, this card is fucking cool, you know? This card is cool. Maybe I'll get the other 3 of him. I don't fucking know. But, thanks for watching me open 65 packs of Magic the Gathering Arena Booster Packs from Crimson Vow. Appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good day. Take care. Hasta la vista.